Hello, Namaskar. Welcome to my pod, the CAA Show. CAA, as all of you know, is Conversations and Analysis. My name is Juggi Bhasin. To subscribe to my channel, please press that red button which you can see on your screen. Subscription is, of course, completely free. You become privy to some very interesting content if you subscribe to my channel. And I would also appreciate if you could like the show and share this video with your friends and your colleagues. Okay, let's come to the issue of today. And the issue is this issue of illegal Indian migrants which have been sent back from the United States in a military aircraft. And all hell has broken loose in India. There's a lot of protest by certain politicians, a lot of them from Punjab. There's a lot of outpouring in favor of these illegal migrants by the liberal media. These illegal migrants were known as donkeys. And if in case you did not know, the donkey term actually is a Punjabi term. It is, of course, a derivative of donkey or the donkey trail. And the Punjabi word is donkey. And the question which I'm asking in this particular podcast is that why are we shedding tears for these illegal migrants or these donkeys? Who are they? Let's take a look at these people. Why have they seized the imagination of so many people, of so many politicians, of so many sections of the media? Let's try and examine that. And are we right in having sympathy for these donkeys or these illegal migrants? Let's examine this issue in some detail. Now, let's start right at the beginning. Who exactly are these donkeys or the illegal migrants? If you think that these illegal migrants are impoverished people or people who are hand to mouth or people who have not enough to eat or they certainly might be unemployed, I'm not arguing about that. But if you think that they are poverty stricken people, then give it a second thought. That is not true at all. Because each of these donkeys or each of these illegal migrants ends up spending close to 40 to 50 lakhs, if not more, to get passage, illegal passage, that is, to either the United States or many other countries in Western Europe. And the question, therefore, which has to be asked is that 40 to 50 lakhs is a lot of money, and you certainly can't be, let's say, from a very impoverished section of society. You would have to be not very well off, but certainly relatively you are well placed in society. You have the means. A lot of these people have land holdings, which the reports suggest that those land holdings, the parents sell off to fund for these illegal donkey migrations, these illegal routes. So 40 to 50 lakhs is a lot of money. And therefore, the people who are saying, oh, or the entire savings of some farmer or entire savings of some person have been wasted, well, then it is a conscious decision which those people have taken to waste that money on illegal activities. And therefore, you can't blame anyone. Nobody was telling you to, put in that 40 to 50 lakhs as a kind of investment on illegal activities, hoping that you would get some return on these particular activities. It doesn't work that way. That's the first point we need to remember, that these are, I would say, I'm using the words consciously, relatively okay, well off people. These are certainly not poor or impoverished people. That's the first part we need to remember. Number two, and this probably is the most important part, where I'm arguing that why are we shedding tears for these donkeys or these illegal migrants? The fact of the matter is that it is not only the illegal migration, which is, some would say, borderline criminality or criminality to that extent that they are indulging in, but they are spawning an entire chain of criminality from literally from point A to point Z. And I'll explain that how it happens. Number one, they consciously, I would say, and people, when they express sympathy for them, that, oh, they have been fleeced by these travel agents or by these dubious fly-by-night characters who are extorting 40 to 50 lakhs from them. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. They are very, very consciously, all of them know that what they are going in for. And therefore, that's the first criminality that you commit, that you first of all start dealing with criminal elements, illegal elements. That's the first step, or the first link in that chain of criminality. Number two, the criminality does not only mean that you're going to the US or to Western Europe and you have committed an illegal act, or you've committed a criminal act. The fact is that when you go through this so-called donkey route, you do border crossings in a number of countries. It's not only one country. A lot of the border crossings are made through Mexico. They're made through Canada before you enter illegally into the United States, which means that you are committing illegal criminal acts in a number of countries besides your own country. And therefore, you are spawning, or you're encouraging, you are feeding, you're giving money to an entire chain of criminality, and you are consciously doing that. That is what I'm arguing. The other point to remember in these things is that a lot of these gangs, a lot of these travel agents, a lot of these facilitators who spawn these donkey routes, they are also indulging in the drug trade. They are also indulging in hawala transactions. Some of them now, it's turning out that they're also involved. This is, of course, human trafficking, but they're also involved in maybe arms smuggling also. So in a way, you are consciously, in a sense, putting your fate, your future, your decision making into the hands of such people. You know what these people are. It's not that you're not aware of such people, and anybody and there's a section of the liberal media which is tom-tomming all over the place. Oh, these poor people, they have been misled, they have been I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. People are very much aware, especially in states like Punjab, Haryana, and even in Gujarat, because a lot of the migration is happening from these particular states, that what they are going in for, you are completely aware. You are consciously taking this particular alternative, this particular option. Nobody is forcing you to do that, but you're taking it, knowing all the risks, that all the dangers which are associated with it, and you go for it. And therefore, you also become what I called a part of this criminal chain which you have spawned. Then also remember that once these people, they land up, let's say, in places like Canada or the United States, because the entire process is illegal. The entire process is borderline criminality, if not outright criminality. Then what do? Then you seek shelter in illegal boarding houses. That's the first part. Please remember, you will not be walking into a respectable hotel or in a motel or wherever, because you have to hide. You have to. So therefore, as I said, the chain, the illegal chain keeps going on and on. That's the point we need to remember. So you land up in an illegal boarding house, illegal motel, or these illegal shelters, or these illegal so-called safe houses, as they are called. And in Canada, especially, the new thing which is coming out is also that a lot of them land up, they take refuge in gurdwaras which are controlled by the Khalistani elements. And therefore, you land up there. And then once you land up there, they know about you. They know about your case. They, of course, will help you, but at a price. And what is the price? The price, quite simply, is that you then become a cog in the wheel of the Khalistani who demonstrates outside the Indian High Commission, who demonstrates, in Indian embassies, in countries like the United States. You have to advocate and toe their particular extremist lines. So, in other words, you are no longer sitting on the fence. You actually have no choice but to join the ranks of these extremists. And that's a price you have to pay if you are given shelter by these illegal elements inside those countries. And therefore, you become what is called a willing accomplice, a part of that criminal chain which I have been talking about. And therefore, over a period of time, a lot of these youngsters, a lot of these donkeys, they then convert to extremist ideology. They very willingly, then after that, they are brainwashed to that extent. They start demonstrating, they indulge in arson and other things. And all these things have happened, as we know. The arson which happened in San Francisco consulate, the Indian consulate there, the Khalistanis. So a lot of these elements who take part in that are these very same donkeys, the same illegal migrants, these youngsters who, with eyes wide open, walk into these traps. And then, well, you got to pay a price for that. My other objection to this entire thing is that this entire system is, in a sense, it is rewarding laziness. It is rewarding shortcuts. It is rewarding criminality. Because please contrast illegal migration with legal migration. There is nothing wrong with legal migration. If you are qualified, if you have studied hard in school and college, if you are a professional, or even for the matter, even if you're not a professional in terms of IT services or management or other fields, even let's say you are a skilled worker, for instance, you're in the construction industry, you are maybe a nurse, maybe, and you are legally migrating. You are going under, nowadays, a lot of countries are entering into contracts with India. For instance, countries like Israel, countries like Taiwan, they are doing these contracts with the Indian government where a certain amount of skilled workers, they require them and they are going under a certain agreement. Now, that is absolutely fine. That is absolutely the right way to do about it. So, in a way, what the illegal migrant or the donkey is doing is that you are doing a disservice to the hard-working legal people going by legal means into these countries. You are casting aspirations, you are casting a crowd, and that is why you have this reaction just developing against H1B. Now, who are the H1B people who are there in the United States? They're extremely qualified people. And not that the Indian government is encouraging them to go and for H1B and all that. They are also going for a better shot at whatever they want to do in life. But the fact of the matter is that these people, when they go, they settle, or if they come back or whatever, and they work hard there, they're also sending remittances back home. And so it's good for India in that sense. So the legal migration is good. And legal migration, by the way, is absolutely kosher. It is something which should be encouraged, actually. That's the lifeblood of nations. But illegal migration should not be tolerated for all the number of reasons which I have given to you. And therefore, these people, they prejudice opinion within these countries. And that's why you've seen there has been recently a backlash in the United States against Indians, particularly. And I suspect it is originating from these kind of characters, these kind of elements, these donkeys or these illegal people who have gone there, all the pannus of the world, all these extremist people who under some guise or the other, whether they take asylum or political asylum or whether they go enter illegally, they are the one who are creating problems. They are becoming a nuisance out there. This is what the people out there see. And they forget then the invaluable contribution of the legal H1B professionals out there who are contributing to, as I said, to nursing. There are so many doctors and engineers, other kinds of IT professionals who are in these countries. Those contributions are forgotten by the people, and then the opinions become biased. And that's why it's a big, big problem. And that is why should we be encouraging or shedding tears for these characters? That's the other thing that needs to be kept in mind. And then my other objection to this entire problem is it spawns what I call a culture of entitlement. Go into the into rural Punjab today, and you hear these songs which are eulogizing the donkeys. They are saying there are lyrics of the songs which are saying that Trump, we will send our donkeys, come what may, you can't stop it. This is the aspiration which these songs, this pop culture in Punjab, for instance, is encouraging. Then that absolutely stupid movie made by Rajkumar Hirani, Dunkey, starring no less than Shah Rukh Khan, where he's actually justifying this entire donkey business. And the premise being that, oh, the British ruled over us. Now it's our turn to go back and to countries like UK and all that. And we have every right, whether we go through the donkey route, to go back to these countries. What kind of perverted, nonsensical logic is that? So what I'm trying to say is that popular culture is also feeding into the problem. They are legitimizing illegality. They are legitimizing this criminal activity. They are actually pushing our youngsters into these stupid endeavors because nothing really comes out of it. You might just go there, but eventually you will be deported. Or even if you land up there and you are undetected, you live in hovels, you live in these one room tenements. It's a very sad lifestyle which they have to go through just because they can save some money or send it back or whatever they do with it. And therefore popular culture plays a very critical role, and unfortunately the popular culture in our country kind of glorifies this. And not only the popular culture, that is the entertainment culture, but now the liberal media has jumped into the bandwagon. I've seen a lot of these podcasts by these so-called liberal people who are saying, "Oh, but we should somehow their investment should be recovered." What should the government do seriously about it? That those 40, 50 lakhs which you have said that the government should start paying it back, which is complete rubbish, when you think about it. And then the biggest objection which these people are raising is that why were these people handcuffed? They were put, their legs were in chains and they were sent back in a military aircraft. How dare the US do that? Excuse me, here's the short point. Number one, a lot of these things are done for optics. Let's face it, the United States is doing it certainly for optics also, because they are sending a message not only to India, but they are sending a message to the whole world that we are not going to encourage this activity. And that's why probably all this has been done. And number two, and this is the point which I need to stress out here, how should we meet or greet these people when they come back? Should we, applaud them that, oh, wow, wonderful, you've done a great job illegally crossing over. You went undetected through so many border crossings and you landed in the US and now you are back. So, what should we do? We should say Vijay Bhave, and we should put an arti or put some harmala around their necks, when they have come back. What rubbish is all this that's going on? If they have come back in handcuffs or chain, well, fine, they deserve it. It's as simple as this. And the point number two, a lot of people are saying, but the US sent a military aircraft. The US sent a military aircraft. They didn't send a military aircraft to invade the country. They sent a military aircraft because, yeah, sure, that's the means possible. And why are we not thinking of something so logical? If we send our own planes, if we send, let's say, Air India planes, or we send our own planes to get these people back, excuse me, we are going to be spending a lot of petrol money on getting these flights and bringing these worthless Johnnies back, these donkeys or illegal migrants. Why the hell should we do that? What is the need for us to do that? That's the point which you need to understand. Let the US, if they're sending it, fine, let them keep sending it. How does it make a difference if military aircraft are landing and depositing these people here? It shouldn't make a difference to us. We save money. Or if need be, then get them all together in some place, let everybody board a ship or something, and they come back. I mean, the fact of the matter is, why should we waste our time, our goodwill, our empathy, and even our valuable money on such people? Because at the end of the day, these people are not thinking of country. They're not thinking of the image of India. They're not thinking that we are indulging in criminal activity. All they are doing is they are narrowly thinking about that, oh, I need to get out of India and somehow I have to make a future for myself. Whatever nonsensical work which you do out there. And it's painful to see the kind of jobs which they end up doing out there. That culture should be discouraged. We should not be encouraging that kind of culture. There are so many jobs which are opening up in our own country, so many jobs these youngsters can do. There needs to be awareness and all that. But unfortunately, we have this vain, I say, or politicians who mislead these youngsters more and more. And that is what a lot of these Punjab politicians have been doing. They have been coming out all in support of these donkeys or these illegal migrants and the liberal media, which adds to the problem more and more. And finally, let me leave you with another big problem, which is this entire donkey business or illegal migrant business has caused for us. The fact of the matter is, right now, the country is, we are stifling under the weight of the illegal Bangladeshi migrant. We want these illegal migrants to be sent back. The courts have already issued notices. They have told the Assam government, why don't you speed up? The NRC has to be implemented there and send back these Bangladeshi illegal migrants. They're changing demographies, as I said in earlier podcasts, in states like West Bengal, even in Noida, Delhi, and so many other places. You have these Ghaziabad, you have these illegal migrants. They have to be eventually, something has to be done about it, and the government hopefully is waking up and they will be sent back. Now, if you are carrying on a campaign like that, and you will, of course, you will be pitted against, and you will have to do something vis-a-vis Bangladesh also eventually. And on the other hand, we start defending these our own people who are the donkeys or the illegal migrants. No, that either the US government compensates them or the Indian government compensates them. How will you fight in sending the illegal Bangladeshi migrants back? You can't have double standards. You can't do one thing. I mean, it has to be, everything has to flow in a logical sense. Illegal migrants are illegal migrants, whether they are Bangladeshis or whether they are our own citizens. That is the bottom line which we need to remember in this entire messaging. And therefore, I would end this podcast by saying that the time has come where we actually sit up, we take a clear view of such problems. These are not our concerns. The country needs to move forward. It is moving forward. The country has clear set goals. And if people who can fit into it, well and good. But if you want to do illegality, if you want to do criminality, and then you want to try your luck, your chances in other places, well, then tomorrow, if you have to pay a price for it, then you please pay the price for it. We other citizens are not going to pay the price for you. It's as simple as that. And I hope the message goes home. And therefore, on this note, I come to the end of this podcast. And again, I'm repeating, if you like the show, do subscribe to it. Press that red button on your screen. And on this note, it's goodbye and cheers from my end.